Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the D&N Show, where I am your host right now, D&Egg. And today, I just wanted to go over the picks for today and how my record so far after last week. So far is 70 and 56. I actually did pretty good last week. I actually did. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went 7 and 6 last week, so not bad. Not bad. Today, the Dolphins versus the Ravens. I have the Dolphins winning today because I don't think the Dolphins have clinched a playoff spot yet, but the Ravens have. Maybe. But I think the Dolphins will win over the Ravens today at home. Next, I have the Patriots versus the Patriots versus the Bills. I had the Bills winning today because the Patriots still just aren't very good. Falcons versus the Bears. I have the Bears winning. I think that's a little bit of the crutch match this week because I don't really care for either team, and either team isn't really doing really good, so I'm choosing the Bears. Titans versus the Texans. Both of them don't have their starting quarterback. Well, I mean, technically Will Levis is Titans' starting quarterback now, but I'm going to choose the Titans today. Just because that's my pick. I don't know. Next, I have the Raiders versus the Colts today. The Raiders versus the Colts. I have the Raiders winning because I believe in the Raiders more than I do the Colts for some reason. Next, the Panthers versus the Jaguars. Obviously, the Jaguars I feel like are going to win today. It's sad to see the Panthers aren't doing really good, doing so well at all. However, I kind of hope they win. I hope the Panthers can get it done versus the Jags as a personal point because that's one of the things that we need. One of the things that we need for the Steelers to make the playoffs, barring that they win against the Seahawks and the Ravens. Yeah. So I'm picking them to win. I'm picking the Jags to win, but I'm hoping personally that the Panthers win. Rams versus the Giants. I have the Rams winning because the Giants just still aren't very good. Cardinals versus the Eagles. I have the Eagles winning because I think they're going to get it done, and because them and Dallas are really, really close in the playoff spots. So I think they'll get it done today. Saints versus the Buccaneers. I have the Buccaneers winning because the Saints are kind of up in the air. I think they're okay, but they're not the greatest. 49ers versus the Commanders. I have the 49ers winning, even though they got their ass beat last week. Steelers versus the Seahawks. I have the Steelers winning today because I believe Mason Rudolph is going to get it done yet again. Chargers versus the Broncos. I have the Chargers winning because the Broncos are just kind of a crap team. Not like a crap team, but the way that they're going, it's just they did Russell Wilson dirty. So I think the Chargers are going to win today. Bengals versus the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning, even though the Chiefs look like the most beatable Chiefs team that they have had with Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. Mainly because they don't have any receivers that catch fuck ball. Lastly, Packers versus Vikings. I have the Packers winning because the Vikings are just all sorts of messed up when it comes to their quarterbacks. They're starting a different quarterback every week, it seems like. Like some teams too. Some teams are doing that all the time. Where this week this quarterback, this week this quarterback, this week this quarterback, this week this quarterback. It's all a mess, and the Vikings are doing that yet again, starting a different quarterback, Nick Mullins. No, not Nick Mullins. Fuck, the other one, the rookie. So, yeah, that's gonna be my picks for this one. Last night I went to the Minnesota and LA game in Minnesota. First time seeing LeBron. It was pretty cool to see. Pretty fun to watch. However, there was a controversial call that people have been talking about all day, all morning, where it was the last couple seconds of the game. The Lakers were down by 3, and LeBron went to shoot a three-pointer to tie the game and send it to overtime. He made the basket. However, they called it a 2-pointer instead of a 3 on the court, which would have put them at only 107, 108. Now, no. I'm scoreboard's wrong. 106. It would have put them at 106, 107. Yeah, that's right. And a lot of people say that it's a 3-pointer, and a lot of people say that it's a 2-pointer. Personally, with the way the angles were that they were showing on the scoreboard, to us, it looked like a 2-pointer. Where, and not as much like a 2-pointer, like, duh, it's clearly a 2-pointer. It's more like that at the angle when he starts to jump up, some camera angles looked like his foot was on the line, and some didn't. And some were like, oh, it's borderline, like it could go either way. Like I could see it going either way. And honestly, I still can. I think it could go either way depending, but the fact that they called it a 2-point shot on the court, and the ref behind him, it makes it hard for them to turn it over at that point. Especially because at some point you can clearly see there's space between his foot. But then when he shifts his foot just to the right, when he goes to jump, that's where it gets to be really sticky, because it's like, it looks like it's on the line. But before that, it wasn't. So it was really hard to tell. And I think they got the call right. It was one of those things where you can't really turn it over at that point and change it. But granted, the refs were on the Lakers side almost the entire night, because there were some blatant dumb calls from the refs where there was no contact, little to no contact, barely anything, and they called it a foul on Minnesota. And during that review from the officials, the LeBron, if you guys saw it, LeBron and AD, now LeBron mainly, he ran to the scoreboard and he was beside himself. That is clearly a 3, and shouting at the refs. And some of the fans in the stadium or in the arena were shouting, "Tee him up, tee him up." Because at that point, if it was Minnesota that was doing that, they would have teed him up, 100%. Because that's basically what they were doing almost the entire night. Cat eventually had 5 fouls, and some of them were that. There's no way that's more of a flop than it is a foul. And some of the other calls, not just on Cat too, that some of them were blatantly they finally got one where they teed up Jared Vanderbilt for flopping. finally, but that was it. Like, there was a lot of bad. The officiating was really bad. And speaking of bad officiating, next we have the Lions and Cowboys game last night. The Lions went all the way down the field, scored, and went for the 2-point conversion. Now they made a trick. They did a trick play, and the lineman caught it, scored. Then they would have won the game. But the ref called illegal touching. However, the offensive lineman that caught the pass was seen in one of the replays. He was running up to the ref to try and report in. But the ref ran off. Like, he didn't even acknowledge him and just ran off. Like, I think that's a bad officiating call more than it is on the offensive lineman. Because if a guy's standing there trying to report in, you should acknowledge him. But he just walked away. Like, what are you doing? Officiating in the NBA and the NFL is getting really, 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 really pointless sometimes, because they're just, oh my god, some of the officiating that we've seen this year is just blatantly stupid. I mean, the NFL can't decide what they fucking want. Can't decide what's clear and what's not, because, you know, one game they'll call something that's blatantly pass interference, you know. Well, no, okay. So the NFL one week will call something that's like hardly pass interference, but they'll still call it. But then the next week they'll call something that's almost the same, if not like more blatant pass interference, and they won't call it. Like, they need to get their shit together. Like, I am not going to lie, they need to absolutely get their shit together, because it's getting ridiculous. I mean, the NFL, you basically should be two-hand touch or fucking flag football at this point. Granted, during the Pro Bowl, they're not doing the Pro Bowl game anymore. They're just doing the skills challenges, which I think one of them is doing flag football, but which they basically should make the entire NFL like that. Just flag football, two-hand touch, because it's basically what you're doing to the defense. And I wouldn't lie, Tom Brady did go on a podcast or something and say this, that especially the one where it was the Colts and Steelers game, where that wasn't a bad play. I mean, it was a tough hit on the Pittsburgh defender, but that was just a bad throw on Minshew's part. Like, he led him way too far and caused him to dive for the ball. That was a hospital throw, is what he called it. That's what Tom Brady called it. That's a hospital throw. Because you're asking for that guy to get fucking drilled. And it's stupid. Because it's more, like he said, it's more offensive mistakes than it is on defensive, like, miscues. So I think they're going about it the wrong way. Like, if you see, it's, you know, like, they're calling so much fouls on the defense more than they are on the defense for those kind of things. More than, like, sometimes it's just an offensive fuck up. Like, it's just bad. It's all bad. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be totally surprised if in the next couple of years it goes to two-hand touch. It goes to flag football. Like, people are getting hit too much. We're just gonna go flag football. Save their bodies. Like, yeah, let's go pay these guys millions and millions of dollars to go play flag football. That would be fucking stupid. More than it already is. Like, we're already paying these guys millions and millions and millions of dollars to play football for a couple months, and then go off season, and then come back for a couple months and do it again. And they're getting millions and millions of dollars. Like the NBA. We're paying these guys ridiculous amounts of money for a fucking season. Each year. For a couple months of basketball, and then they're done, and then they come back. And I'm not saying I'd hate watching the NBA and the NFL, because I like watching the NBA and the NFL. I like watching sports. Keeps my mind off of things, lets me sit down and fucking watch something. I like it. But the way that the trajectory is going, I don't understand where we're going to be at in the next 10 years. That's my question for today. Where do you think the NFL and the NBA is going to be in the next 10 years? 10, maybe 15 years. Where do you think the trajectory and the projections are going to go? But that's gonna do it for this one, I think, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have too much, and I'm by myself today, so it's fine. But thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, turn on the bell notifications, and comment what you think about the calls recently, about the officiating calls recently. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to have a nice day. Happy New Year. Let's hope. What are your New Year's resolutions this year? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a wonderful New Year, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice one. And don't forget to tune in next time. We'll see y'all in the next one. Deuces.